Floats, a property that strikes fear into the hearts of web developers everywhere. Let's take a look at how floats and text alignment are impacted by logical properties. With physical properties, floats have always gone to the left or to the right. With logical properties, floats take on the values of inline start or inline end. One of the major sources of anxiety and bugs where floats are concerned are clearing the floats. Fortunately, we have an easy way to do that via the display property with a value of flow root. Placed on the parent of the element holding the floated item, this will clear any floats for you. Finally, text alignment has a few new values with logical properties as well. With physical properties, we often used text align left, right, or center. Those new values are now start, end, or center. In this challenge, you'll work with floats and text alignment to create 3 mini layouts on this page. You'll need to determine the appropriate writing mode for each layout. The first 2 layouts feature Rex and Dolores, and they include working with floats and clears. The last layout with bubbles includes text alignment. Don't change the starting HTML or CSS to achieve your solution, but you're welcome to add to the CSS if you wish. Pause this video to take on this challenge. Here's how I solved this challenge. First of all, let's go through Rex's example. So the first thing to do here, just on the div itself, with the div with the class of Rex, we'll set our writing mode, horizontal TB, and we can set up a margin block and a margin inline just to center us on the page and separate us from other elements. Then for the image of Rex, what we want to do is float it to the right side of the page. So that would be a float with a value of inline-end. If you simply did that much here, you would wind up with a solution that looks like this. And that is because remember that with floats, you pull the image out of the normal flow as if it weren't even there, and the other elements of the page, in this case, this text, is going to determine the height of the particular containing element. This is why you have to clear your floats. So that's what happens here. If we simply add to this a display flow root on our paragraphs, this is going to allow this float here to clear nicely. Of course, you could add classes to this or whatever in a more complicated example. So as you look at your HTML, the image is contained inside of the paragraph. So the paragraph is the parent. And when we use display flow root on that parent, then that clearing process will happen for us just fine. So that is the simplest example of these. Let's take a look at Dolores, who's a little bit more complicated. So once again here, this has got a writing mode of vertical, right to left. We can tell because we start in the upper right corner, work to the lower left. We have our margins set up here to center this on the page and give us a little bit of space. But we set our inline size to 30%. Remember, that is our vertical axis here. So 30% happens to be smaller than the height of the Dolores image. And that is why the Dolores image is sticking out of this box. So as you see here, once again, we've floated the image once again to inline end. You could also do it to inline start if you prefer. That would put it a little bit lower on the page here, and bottom half of Dolores would hang out of the picture. I just like the way it looked better if we did inline end, where her head is sticking out of that box. And then of course, once again, we need to clear our float. And so this we have display flow root. And then finally, in our last example, we have here our bubbles text, and our writing mode here is once again vertical left to right. In this case, we wanted to align the bottom of the text here for whatever reason. So we're going to use text align end in order to make that happen rather than text align right or left or something. Of course, the other value we could use here would be start. That would be aligning the top of the text here. It probably increases legibility if you were to do that. But in this particular case, we've aligned it here to the end. All right, so that should give you a great sense of how floats and text direction are managed in logical properties.